I'm Dwayne Redford with the Fly Fishers Playbook and Minturn Anglers. Behind me is one of my favorite features to fish on any river. And it's a riffle to a shelf, to a pool, to a tail out. Back behind me here is the riffle section. It's probably 8 to 12 inches deep. It hits a shelf. The shelf kind of runs along that line right there, and then it drops down into the pool section. I find a lot of feeding fish on the shelf. So what I need to do is perfect the ability to cast up on the shelf and get my flies at proper depth and proper speed immediately as they hit the shelf, because those feeding fish are lined up on that shelf. The fly fishing formula, I talk about that a lot, comes in play here. It comes in play all the time, but especially here, because what I need to do is be able to cast the proper angle upstream according to the water speeds to get the proper depth. So the fish may be here, the depth is here, and the speed is moving here, so I have to calculate in my mind how far upstream to cast to get those flies and that fish to collide. What I like to do in this instance is cast up on the shelf. Now, all bodies of water are different, so I may have to do a little experimenting, casting further up on the shelf, allowing it to drift a little bit, and then if I happen to snag on the riffle section, then I'll pull those flies, clean them off, but my next cast will be right where I just snagged, and I will incrementally work my way down to the point where I'm hitting that shelf properly. This is a really fun way to approach any riffle to shelf situation. I don't know if you could pick this up on camera, but also in this section are some glass sections or some mirror water. So I've got pretty hard riffle section here, the shelf is sitting here, and then there's glass. And I'm fairly certain that that's going to hold fish. We'll give it a rip a little bit here. What I'll show you is the casting of the upstream angle and trying to get a good drift down through here using all the proper nymphing characteristics and mechanics. I'm throwing a 3-bug rig underneath an indicator. I put a nice bright indicator on there in hopes that you'll be able to see it. There was one sitting right there on that shelf in that glass water. The key was getting the proper distance up that shelf so I could come right down and have this fish and my flies collide. Oh, he came off. Nice little brown trout. So again, the next time you go to a fishing area and you're not quite sure how it's going to play out with water speeds, always start a little bit high. The higher you cast, the more your bugs are going to sink, given the rig you're throwing. And that's why I always profess to throw the same rig, for quite a few times over and over and over again, to the point where your mind starts to calculate how quickly those flies will sink in relation to the speed of the water and the depth of the fish. Again, Dwayne Redford, Fly Fishers Playbook. Thank you.